Hey Georgia, we are here today just a few miles off I-75 in Cartersville, and we get to visit two very neat locations. So tell me what we get to do today.
We are going back in time. We're going from 200 years ago to more than 1,000 years ago. So we're going to go to Etowah Indian Mound State Historic Site, and then we're going to go to New Echota State Historic Site. And these are two native cultures. We're going to start with the Mississippian culture and then go to what was the Cherokee Nation's capital.
Very neat. I can't wait to see it and learn about the history that is all around us. So stay tuned and we'll get to learn together. Hey guys, I am here with Keith, who's one of the interpretive rangers here at Etowah Indian Mounds. And so Keith, tell me a little bit about this place.
Okay, so Etowah is a very large town. You can think of it as the capital for the Native Americans that used to live here. Our state park is only 68 acres, but the town itself would have expanded outside of the state park. So a lot of our neighbors' area would have had villages and houses on it. So you're looking at anywhere from a few hundred people to a few thousand people that lived here at the town, and the chief would have been in control of other villages up and down the river for miles and miles.
So it's quite expansive. It's not just what's right here, it's just this is what is preserved at this time.
This is what's preserved here. So we're basically showcasing the capital for the Native Americans that lived in this area.
That's very neat. So tell me a little bit about what's behind us right here.
So behind us we have the second tallest Mississippian mound in the world, 63 foot tall. We have two other smaller mounds that guests can see, and then there's multiple smaller mounds that were plowed over as this became farmland in the early 1800s. There's also the river, and on a good day you can see the fish weir. We have a nature trail. We have the defensive ditch back here that surrounds most of the village. Most people think of it as a moat around, like you would see in Europe, around a castle.
Yeah.
And then of course we also have a reproduction house over here that people can see.
To kind of see what they looked like back during that time period.
So the Native Americans, they had two different style of houses. We have one, and that's the Wattle and Daub hut.
Wattle and Daub. That is a fun name, if I do say so myself. So a Wattle and Daub hut. Okay. Very fascinating. Well, let's go check out the hut so that we can see what they saw.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so we're in a Wattle and Daub hut, and if you look up to the roof, what you'll see is a large opening, and this large opening is basically their chimney. If you have a campfire to keep yourself warm for cooking, whatever, that smoke has to go somewhere. And so people all around the world, until the chimney was invented, would have a hole in the roof. Sometimes they would have a secondary roof over it, but the smoke would rise. And that's one thing with these Native American huts, is they were extremely smoky. And even Hernando de Soto mentioned coming into houses and the smoke being so thick you could almost not breathe. And sure enough, when we build fires in here, it's that way.
It gets really smoky.
It gets really smoky.
All right, tell me about this door, because didn't you just tell me that De Soto remarked that the native peoples here were really tall, and yet this door is so short?
Yeah, so there's several different theories for why the door is so short. So one theory is that a person, coming into the building would have to bend over if they were trying to attack, and a person in the inside, to protect the house, you bend over easily.
They're more vulnerable.
More vulnerable.
All right.
Second theory is some people have suggested that they thought the house itself had a spirit, a living spirit, and so you were forced to give reverence to that spirit by bending over as you entered through the doorway.
All right, that
so
would
that's
work.
another theory.
I think I have decided that if I was making one of these, I would get to about here in the mud, and then I'd be all done and say, you know what, I could fit through this doorway, so we're just going to call it at the site.
And that's very possible. I've got several things here that people in the past used to help provide themselves with the things that they needed to survive. Just like people today have their own tools, people in the past had their own. So we have things that in the past were made out of rocks and and sticks and other natural materials so that they could provide themselves with those things like a gourd could be used for carrying water for drinking. It could be cut open and used as a bowl. Fibers could be used to make rope and string for bedding, for shoes. We've got a dugout canoe back here behind you that the Native Americans would have used for traveling up and down the river and for fishing. And they also have this fish trap over here up on the ceiling, a big basket that they would have used in the fish weir at the river to help collect fish that they would have used as basically for food, but also the parts that you don't eat that would be buried in the ground as fertilizer.
And it's very interesting looking. I notice it's not what you think of when you think of a basket, because it's got a very narrow opening. So what was the purpose of that? Was it specialized fishing? Do they know a trick we don't?
Basically, the idea is it's similar to a cricket box for those people who do catch crickets for fishing today. Has a narrow opening so that when the fish swim in, if they decide to turn around and come back out, it's hard to find that opening.
Okay, so it kind of traps them in there.
It traps them in there. And you would throw bait, maybe some worms or something that the fish would eat, and maybe lay a heavy rock on the inside to keep the water from washing it away, or tying it to a tree stump. And yeah, so they can catch lots of fish at once. One of the things that people need to do, of course, is to provide themselves with food. So we have quite a variety of replica tools that would be used for that. Anything from a simple wooden spear that's just a sharp point on the end that you can use to try to knock things out of a tree. You can use it as a walking stick, and you can use it to protect yourself. But basically, simple gathering tool to more commonly thought types of spears with your large spear points made of stone. We've got a feather here that they could use to gauge the wind direction and wind speed.
Because that's one of the more iconic symbols
Yeah.
of indigenous people, is you see pictures or you see depictions of them standing with one of these and a feather. So you're saying that they actually use that to gauge the wind.
Yeah, a lot of people think it's just a decoration to say, oh, he's one feathered chief. He's only good for hunting or war. One war, one animal kill. When in actuality, the wind, the faster it's blowing, the more the feather moves, and that allows you to gauge the direction your scent's being blown, how noisy things in the woods may be, and even changes in the weather.
So that's really smart.
It is. And then, of course, there's lots of other types of spears. Eventually, people learn to throw spears, put feathers on the end that we call a fletching, similar to an arrow. And of course, we have arrows back here. But you would throw this spear either with your hand or with a tool that's called an atlatl. And we'll show that in a few minutes outside. But basically, all these things are meant to provide yourself with food. And one of the last ones is a blowgun. Here in our area in the southeast, Native Americans use these to hunt smaller animals like squirrels and rabbits. Basically, you take a river cane, which is a type of grass. You have to hollow it. Each of these joints are solid, so you use a long stick and a rock to drill it out. And then you would shoot darts. And my darts are short. They're made out of more modern material, but they would have them 16, 18 inches long. The back part's called a plume. It's usually made out of feathers. Mine are made out of the seed pods off of a thistle plant so that they blow in the wind. It works well if you put them on. And you can put these into the tube, and basically you blow through it and you hit the target.
You'd have to have really good aim for that.
Pretty good aim. And you may have seen this on National Geographic, where the people in other countries shoot monkeys out of trees. So it's a very common tool here in the southeast and a lot of other places around the world. Very useful.
It's still used around the world.
Still used.
But I understand that you guys actually do a fun project with some of the junior rangers that come and visit you on how they could make their own.
We do.
All right. Can you show that to me today?
All right, so we have some very simple materials that we need. First, some glue or paste.
Okay.
A pencil is useful. You don't have to have that. Some barbecue skewers and some cotton balls. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to make a dart with a cotton ball plume, and what we're going to do is we're going to unroll our cotton balls. If you get natural cotton balls, they roll out. They're in a spiral like most everything, pine cones and other things, most life spirals.
Okay.
So I'm going to guesstimate about 1/3 of the length here.
Sure.
It's about 1/3.
So it's just gonna, the plume is just gonna take about 1/3 of the end of it then?
Yeah, 1/3 of the
Okay.
end.
Sure.
So then we're going to use the paste. We're going to coat this very back end really well with paste.
To stick this to?
Just this will help the cotton.
Because they
stick
would
to
have
it.
cut the wood and stuck the feathers and the plumes and things down.
They
down
would have
here.
used string made probably from sinew
Okay.
or some kind of plant material. You could use pine sap as a sticking agent.
And you guys are welcome to go out and harvest that pine sap, but today we're gonna use a glue stick.
Exactly. So this is real simple. Once we've got the cotton rolled out, we're going to attach at an angle,
Okay.
maybe a 45-degree angle or so, and then we're just going to roll it onto the stick. And when we get all the way down here at the end, that little bit of extra that I had, the extra paste, we'll roll it around, and within just a minute or two, that would be dry enough that we can then shoot the dart through a blowgun. And of course, the easiest blowgun today that we can get is you go to your local home improvement store and buy a short piece of plastic tubing for water irrigation.
You
Plastic.
can show us how that works?
I can.
All right, perfect.
All right, so all we have to do is put the dart into the blow tube, take a deep breath, and blow out. So we have lots of visitors that come every year, a lot of day visitors off the interstate, and probably close to 20,000 visitors a year. Lots of those are school groups, homeschool groups, private schools. They can't wait to climb to the top of the mound, all 132 steps. And from the top, they can see the landscape that the Native Americans could have witnessed, 500 years ago.
Right, and this is a beautiful view looking out. I can't wait to get up there and see it for myself. Let's go check it out.